Oh, yeah. Now, let's kick things off with some of our questions. The first one to all of you: what advice you give your past self about combining sales and marketing? And if it's possible, Michael, could you could you answer it first?
Absolutely, Max. Guys, happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me for this panel, and I would love to, share everything that I'm doing right now with my team. So, to be honest with you, when I was thinking about this question, the first answer that I got was definitely the qualification part. Like, I might be an old school person here, but to be honest with you, the moment we implemented the qualification on the BDR end, that it changed the whole game for me. Because before the qualification, basically what we did, we've invested in a lot of money in marketing. We're looking at what channels worked. We passed leads and opportunities for our sales team, and then the sales team were kind of closing some. The conversions were like okay, and then they were like, Michael, we're swamping in the deals, but they're different deals. So the moment we said, all right, can our BDRs, before passing the opportunity to the sales team, qualify each opportunity? Would it change it? And we did it. So the way we did it, we use HubSpot as our CRM. We added this HubSpot service plan where you have different playbooks, and we automated the playbook where there is a list of 10 questions that BDRs are filling out for each opportunity. And it give us from -10 to +10 scoring per deal. And the questions are around the location of the client, their size, the POC we're talking to, et cetera, et cetera. But there were few that are, I think, unique for us. They also BDRs also matched. They matched each criteria with the chance to successfully deliver to the client. So, like, if this is a company or an industry that we can successfully deliver to, then it's plus score. If not, then it's minus score. So it totaled down to from. So we passed over to the sales team all the opportunities that has 3+. And in this way, the conversions grew, kind of doubled in the quality and just the volume, and both teams had been happy. And it helped us to align the sales and marketing, because then we realized that essentially the sales team, the marketing team, then works only to generate the opportunities that will have a high potential of closing for the sales team. I'm sorry I took a minute here to tell you this, but that was the game changer for us. So.
Okay, we got it. Thank you, Laura. What about your advice to past self?
Yeah, for me, it's much more high level than for Michael. So the advice for past self, when I was working at the larger enterprises, just in sales, I really didn't care about marketing much. It's like it's just sales that closes everything. It's like it's just us. Everything else that marketing is doing is like, okay, nice banner. We need to go to the event. Oh, can you do this roll up and this kind of stuff? That was marketing for me. And that's really bad. Don't do this. So past self, care about this. How can they help you out? Because Michael, what you're speaking about right now is exactly that collaboration as well. We figure out what's actually working together. We in sales tell marketing what kind of leads are good. Let's care about the data. And that will create so much smoother process, not just for you internally because you're wasting time. I don't care that you're wasting time, but for your buyers, so much more impactful, because you would know what a good lead is, what not too good lead is, and maybe you don't even need to waste time on the smaller leads.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the prospects. They don't want to speak to you if they're not a good lead and
Yeah.
they're not going to have impact from your
Yeah.
product. So care about marketing. That's what my learning is.
I love it. I love it, really, Laura. Thank you so much because, like, I just see so much, memes about sales and marketing, and like, when it comes to sales, they always like neglect all the marketing impact. But well, anyway, just answering this question, I'm like completely agree with you guys, because if I could give advice to my past self about marketing and sales, I would say like, hey, negotiate with sales team on, well, who are the leads? Like, who do you need, guys? What is the size of the company? What are their needs? What are the critical details that are needed for qualification? And, the sooner it becomes obvious for both marketing and sales, the easier the process will be and the easier the job will be to do.
Yeah, just to echo what you guys said, we're doing exactly the same, and we packaged that into like three tiers, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and we put the exact criteria who the tier 3 companies are, tier 2, tier 1 companies, and then the sales and marketing and the client delivery team are all aligned with regards to this is the perfect client for us. So then when we're passing over from the marketing and the tier 1 clients to the sales team, they better be closing them, right? Because we know that this is the best successful client for everyone, and everyone put their, hands on that and say, yes, that's true. We all agree with that. We all are happy. And this just removed the discrepancy at all, so yeah.
Yeah. So we deal with this question. Thank you. But let's talk about mistakes. What's the biggest mistake you have seen in aligning sales and marketing? And let me push the microphone to Laura. Could you highlight your experience?
A very tangible mistake, and don't do this, okay? So Dreamdata, we started to be active on LinkedIn like 3-4 years ago. And we figured out that it's working. Like sales, creating content, some of them creating personal brands, some of them creating just regular posts, what marketing posted, but just being active on LinkedIn. Really nice. And then one day, my CMO comes over to me and says, Laura, so you've got 10,000 followers and we're low on leads. How can we convert them? I was like, okay, can we not convert them? So let's do some things. Like, let's do something creative. Let's get them to convert. I said, okay, Stefan, I'll do it, but I promise you the results are going to be shit, but I'll do it. So, okay, so I created a video. I was like, yada, yada, we did this. And if you convert, I don't remember. It's like, I either promised gifts or something fun, like. So a video got exposed to, I think, like 20,000 people. And I got 0 meetings, none, nada. And then like, it did not affect my brand too much. It was a little cheesy and so on. It's okay. But then what I did the next day, I think, or 2 days after, is that I fucked up. So I did this and I would like to do it better. So please, everybody in marketing, help me out and tell me what I should have done differently.
Right.
You know what? Out of that, I converted so many meetings because I was selling to marketers, and what they like to do, they like to help. So don't try to convert people who are just following you for the content or are interested. You're building demand, but that demand capture, please leave it till they come in or when they're actually ready. You cannot force that in. So this is my mistake. Don't do it.
It's so just before this event, I record the video, like some kind of video invitation, and it was so
polished. Yeah,
it was polished. Yeah, I made like 30 tries to record it, and I published it like, I'm ready to get my impressions. And I have like 300, 400, and then I just make screenshot of my on my phone with all those drafts of this video and publish it like, guys, look at this. I spent so much time and I fucked up, and it was like 5 times more successful than previous posts with video. It's so about the human. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
People want to know you're humans. Like, let's not try to play over polished content and like, we're not perfect. Nobody is. Then let's not play that.
Let's face it.
Let's highlight this idea. I love it. Michael.
So not all mistakes have happy ending, by the way. I just wanted to clarify that, right? That I don't have the happy ending like Laura had, all right? So I think the mistake that I made back in the day, I I went and I talked to my head of marketing and said, listen, your job is to generate leads. That's it. Like, you generate leads, as many leads that you can. Just do it. This is your budget. Let's do that. If you're going to successfully generate those leads, here's your bonus. You're going to be successful. This is like, promotions. And then he said, let's do that. I went to then the sales team and said, listen, you're closing the deals. If you're closing, you're getting successful. Obviously, you know what's happened. Marketing generated hundreds of deals, and then sales didn't close anything. So we spend all the budget. Marketing team is like, the fuck? Like, we are successful. Like, we've done our KPI, we've done our work. Like, that's it, right? And the sales team is like, Michael, they generated shitty leads, or like they generate the leads, but we didn't close them. We didn't know what's happening. We didn't figure it out. And, we burned out the cash. So the moral of the story is the following. Both the marketing and the sales team should be compensated and motivated by the bottom of your funnel, not the top of your funnel. And they should be both committed to it and paid for that. So I changed that. And now my marketing team is also being motivated by not just how many leads they generate. Obviously, the X number of leads is important for the conversion, but also the successful sales. So now my BDRs or my marketing team, they get some X percentage or some small commission or just some perk from the closed deals and closed clients, and not just, the pipeline that they kind of generated. And that kind of, I learned from that mistake by spending a lot and not getting anything. So
did we write down this idea?
Well, yeah, obviously. From my side, I want to add that probably our mistake was the feedback loop. Oh, and it actually resonates with what you are talking about, because, well, previously we didn't have it good enough, like timely feedback on, hey, marketing, last week you generated some batch of leads, but no one of them convert. So, and like, when you have this short time frame to, well, dive into the details and see, hey, we have this good performing campaign, but sales team reports that those leads do not convert. So, well, we can, make some decisions and probably switch it off, change it, and something like this. So I would say that this was, and this is actually a critical mistake. But you know what? I want to use my right as the co-host of this conference and actually ask you guys another question, because Laura, I really like your point on, like, don't try to generate leads, right? Don't try to sell. But actually, business rely on predictability. And how do you, balance this, creative approach and getting attention from the audience with actually number of leads or number of sales pipeline that you need to generate?
Yeah. So you create predictability through, you can start with so-called vanity metrics, but you can start by mapping them out. So what we do at Dreamdata is we create a lot of content on LinkedIn. We also pay for LinkedIn ads as well, but we don't convert people. Throughout the customer journey, we're able to see that people are consuming that content that is account-based. So we already can see the signals that are not conversions just yet. So seeing that companies are consuming our content, suddenly you can see that they come through G2 and start comparing us with somebody else.
Right.
They're in the buying moment. That's where we can start doing a little bit more pushy sales, reach out through sales, or do a little bit of a different marketing approach. So it starts with mapping the intent, and then mapping that intent into pipeline that creates predictability. So intent goes into marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, new business, and you can look back and start seeing what type of signals are the good signals that we're going after. By creating that creative content, it doesn't mean that you just go out and just, stand on a barrel and shout out to people. You target that. You target the messaging, what type of messages you're doing. What type of people you're connecting with, what kind of audiences you're building as a marketer. And out of those things, you start mapping out which of those initiatives started to bring in intent for you, website visits, intent from LinkedIn, your G2, and then you will start those converting. So predictability is built through intent as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, Michael, do you want to add here?
No, I think it's Laura nailed it. It's super great point. Something just to add, I would probably start off by falling back on the channels that are more predictable and works better. So typically, even in a startup, there's always your strong suit, something that you know how to do that. For some founders can be a thought leadership, right? You already have an audience, so you can fall back on that. Some, like myself, know how to send cold emails, but I've seen, and there's some speakers that will be in this event, they are one of the best content creators that are out there on LinkedIn, and every post they create, it goes viral, right? They know how to work with the audience, so they can use that. So I would just say that use the channels that you know how to use, but always experiment, but just don't fall into the trap of all experiments and that's it, right? Because like if you do too many experiments, then it's just doesn't make sense. That's why they are called A/B testing, because you have two options, or ABC testing, right? So do what you know to do the best, use that, create the predictability, and then always be curious to test something new, but not too many tests at the same time. So yeah.
Thank you. Would you like to add something?
Well, no, thank you. Okay, which just
because Laura nailed it.
Yes, exactly. So I mean, like, it's just nothing to add here.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. It's hard. It's a complex question. What's changed in your approach to sales or marketing significantly increase your inbound leads? Michael, maybe you may start.
Oh yeah. Demand conversion is my favorite topic because I'm playing with it all the day. So it's not a news for anyone right now, but when we put book a call button on the website, it changed the game. So like about 40% of our prospects start booking calls directly with the sales team instead of filling out the form. It worked for us really well. Then the next step would be adding qualification questions so that the leads can be routed to the BDR team or to the sales team directly. So if you go to my website and you click on so that you're with the startup, then you will go to the BDR team to qualify whether you have a budget, right? If you are from the enterprise company, you will go straight to the sales exec who is handling the enterprise clients per se, right? So it helped to reduce the time and the friction between the attempts to get directly to the right person to talk to. So there's no extra handoff that doesn't need to be there, right? And then what we start looking at is when a prospect can book a conversation with us. Is it in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Because we were booked so much. So the as we shorten the time that the prospects can book a time with us, it helps us to actually increase the conversion. Because as you probably know, if your prospect is not talking to you today, then they're talking to someone else. Then by Friday, they're already going to have a proposal with someone else. Then we should move quickly, right? So although you might have a volume, but moving quickly and being very thoughtful about that to not to create additional friction for the handoff was obviously the game changer for us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Michael. I have additional question, but I'll ask you later after the Laura answer.
Yep. And it's very, very similar. Look into the data. So I love, Michael, that you did that part of splitting it out, who's handling what. And even our CTO is saying, if I want to buy a product and I'm not able to book a demo for today or tomorrow, I'm gone. And it's really, really key that, oh yes, you guys are busy and probably don't have available people. Make sure you do, because they're speaking with somebody else. But for us, so what changed a lot was looking into the data, how fast some of the channels are converting. So if we know that events are converting within a year, or webinars are converting longer than a year. So all of you who filled out forms for this one, you're probably going to become Reply's client in like a year or two. You just don't know it yet. But that's how it takes a long time. Then you know how much time and effort you have to give your sales team to convert the leads that come from a webinar. And a totally different approach if they come from Google. If they come from Google, they just Google you, they're looking for it. Or G2, it will take a month or two, then they are closed. Make sure that you focus on short-term and long-term. And that is going to change a lot from how you're handling your leads and prioritizing your time.
Well, it's so insightful. Well, can you guys share what systems or tools are you using to prioritize leads?
Or you want to go first?
We score our leads. So the way we score them, first of all, ICP, not ICP. And those are like Gmails, cannot even book meetings.
Right.
A little different with LinkedIn forms because you always come in with your personal, usually with your personal account. But then those are scored according to the account you're coming from, because that you still know if it's ICP or not. But tools are systems. So we use Dreamdata to score them as well because of their activity on the website, if they've been on G2, LinkedIn, and so on. But we also use Apollo to help us to score on the ICP fit as well. And the two combined, activity and ICP fit, that helps in scoring as well to figure out who's going to do what. And then there are 3 levels of accounts. It's like small, I think it's up to 250 employees, then 250 to 1,000, and 1,000 and up. So that also helps out to know who's going to book what in Calendly. And that's what we have set up for people to be booked for enterprises or for middle or for the small ones as well.
Thanks. And the question I wanted to ask Michael, it was about what about this fear to drop your conversion rate when you're adding some qualification questions? How did you manage it?
Yeah. So we did the A/B test, and the result was surprising that the more complicated form would have a better conversion across the board, because if a client actually wants to spend time and filling out a bigger form, they would likely to be converted into the opportunity with a higher chance. So they're not just a kind of vanity shopping around, but that's it, right? So that kind of showed us the data that we have.
What are your buyers? What type of buyers do you sell to?
So typically, mid-size, from small to mid-size companies, from 50 to 500 people, different industries, service, tech companies, like across the board.
Is it usually technical buyers or more?
No. Marketing, salespeople. Yeah.
You usually hear differently. Interesting. I like it.
But then we didn't overcomplicate it. We added only the few drop down menus, just 2, 3 basically, right? That tells us, where are you from? Tells us what size of your company, and then tells us what's your budget. I'm sorry about the budget thing, but I mean, honestly, right? You don't want to spend time. You don't want to spend time in 5 days, get to someone on the call, and then they will deal the speech. Make your introduction, Michael. Then I'm doing my introduction. Then we talk all the need qualification. And then what's your budget? It's $500. Oh, sorry, we're not a fit. We're like 100 times more. And you're like, shit, right? So we just go straight to, are you married or are you single? Kind of type of question, Yeah.
I love it.
I am embarrassed. I'm sorry.
We get a simple tech question about, do you use Calendly for meeting booking at the website?
So we don't, not on the website. We have a 2-step booking. So we've got a regular form on the website, and then they get an email to book it through Calendly. But I have very good friends at Chili Piper who help with just that direct thing.
Yeah.
So there are pros and cons for both, but I think it would be a good idea as well to check them out.
We do Chili. We did HubSpot, but then when the volume grew and we did the routing and then the handoff and stuff, we started working with Chili and implemented that part, and it worked really well for us. Yeah.
Sorry for off top, but you mentioned Chili Piper, and I recall their cold outreach, and it was message on LinkedIn where a girl asked me about receipt of grandma soup. Do I want to receive?
They did that too with me. They reached out to me to say like, hey, do you want to know my favorite recipe or something?
And I was like, sure, I want to receive this recipe, and she shared. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then in a week or something, she wrote to me like, knock, knock. I'm like, who's there? And we continued chatting about. And it was, it's not just off top. It's an example where it's not highly personalized outreach. it's so human centric, and
Yeah.
I just want to share it with you because it's aligned with all things you mentioned some way. Yeah.
You should have Joey Williams, who is their head of SDR for Chili Piper, on the next event. He's hilarious, and he can tell you more about their approaches. Yeah, so they're doing
Definitely.
really cool things.
We wrote down this. Yeah. One more question. We have like 13 minutes more, and I'm happy to ask you a couple more questions. I like this one about technologies. How can technology help unite sales and marketing? Any tools you recommend? So it's just about the list. Maybe you might share the list and explain each point of the list.
So I've been a customer of Reply.io for 8 years, since the entire. So actually, you guys were the first tool that we bought, probably. Just so we've been for the entire journey of us, we've been with you, and now knowing that you guys can be expanding your suite and adding the inbound features. So would love to explore that, but we mostly use you guys for outbound and for some LinkedIn related things. I am a huge fan of HubSpot. I've done a lot of really cool things in terms of the nurturing, positive, negative attribution, some conversions on, some audience building with HubSpot. We use a lot Chili Piper, a lot. We use a lot of different integrations with like AI. So like things like if my sales team have a conversation with a prospect, then the recording, the script and the summary of the recording will go to HubSpot, and there's some deals actions going to be created automatically, so it's all automatic and stuff, and there is a lot of integration to qualify. So when I mentioned this qualification that our BDRs are doing, some of that is done automatically. So we are like Laura are pulling data from multiple sources, so they don't spend time researching manually, but then they can actually save time on that. AI can do that, or someone else can do that. Yeah. But apart from that, just really that we're getting it from between the sales and the marketing is something that's worth mentioning really here is, and this is maybe unique for me because I'm in a professional service line of work, but our client team, our client delivery team are the kings in the company. So they are dictating the rules. So essentially we don't have any problem about the sales and marketing alignment because they both are listening to the client delivery team. So in a way, like what client delivery tells them, these two teams are kind of doing. So what we did, we've created this kind of dashboard when we pulled all the clients, all their results and their industry and some other things, and then both in the marketing and the sales team are aligned by looking at that, and then we're using Plan Hat for that kind of alignment. And it just was the game changer, because now when a sales team prepares for the call, sales rep prepares for the call, or they're thinking about the strategy, they don't, essentially what they do, they go and they filter out, here are the best successful clients, industries, types of engagements that we have right now that are real time, and we will build our strategy on top of that. And then since both teams have the same access to the same tool, it's a no-brainer that they make the same kind of strategy in a way, right? So that's kind of where we are. So
thank you. Just wrote down a couple things. Laura.
Yeah, I saw somebody asked before we joined, is outbound dead? And I almost agree. It's kind of that cold outbound is over. We all open up our emails, and then 20 emails later, after click, 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 click. I mean, you know which emails are outbound and shit, and you would never open them up. So I'll walk you through how we align marketing and sales in order to do signal-based outreach as well. So marketing is initially creating demand, right? So do campaigns and so on, and all of those channels, we do track them in Dreamdata. We've got all the signals in LinkedIn and Google and so on, and know which ones convert the best, how much do they cost and so on. But then the next thing that happens, as soon as we have a conversion, then sales teams are also able to see the customer journeys of the clients. So if you're getting a conversion in, then you're able to see what has happened, what type of campaign that did they come through. Oh, did we meet them at the event 2 years ago? Then we can also think about that they probably know us and so on. So that comes a little smoother and closer to marketing, so you don't have to ask, where have you heard about us from? You can do that because it will tell you that, oh, maybe they saw Michael on this webinar, and you wouldn't know because this is Reply IO's webinar.
How
But
do you pull this data?
book a meeting, I'll show you. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I love that. Yeah, it's cool.
Michael, I was on this meeting, and it's worth to. It's definitely you should visit it. Yeah.
No, but it's something that we do. This is the service that we sell, but this is how important it is for sales as well. And it doesn't have to be through Dreamdata. You just have to get to stitch that together. So what sales get as well, besides that customer journey, is also the signals from the clients. So what marketing is doing before a conversion, sales wouldn't see that they're there. But if you've got, let's say, 100 accounts that you're targeting, every single morning from Dreamdata through an ETL tool, we push an email and a Slack to each salesperson saying, this is a list of your active accounts. Some of them, the ones that you have your name on, some of them you might be in conversations with, some of them are in product, some of them you have never spoken with because they're only on G2, but you're acting quickly because you know that speed is the king. If you're the person to speak with them, then you'll be able to be first one for them to shape the idea about what you're selling. So this is all that journey goes through signal-based selling, not just that type of cold outreach that nobody wants. And of course, we still have a list of accounts. We try to do all the creative outreach as well, but you really have to find a recipe for that grandma soup to be able to be good at outbound still.
I can comment here because we at Reply believe that cold outreach should be as relevant as advertising. When you search for something, well, you see the ads, right? Whether it's Google or social media, it doesn't matter. If you have the intent, you will get the relevant ads. And it should be the same with cold outreach. So this is the point. If you look at cold outreach from this perspective, it makes a bit more sense. As a marketer, I want actually to get proposals about, the topic I'm interested in. Like, hey, I need contractor for content. Hey, actually, I want a expert content to be ranked in top 10 Google. Or, well, you name it, it can be anything. But if I'm interested, I want to get the message.
Yeah, exactly. I want to mention something else in regards to that as well. I spoke with Leah Turin. I don't know, you probably know her from LinkedIn as well. One of the things she's speaking about is the micro conversions of your prospects. But micro conversions don't have to be a booked meeting. Micro conversions often interest from your outreach. If you're looking, for example, get SaaStr's newsletter. SaaStr never speaks about, buy my ticket, come to my conference. We're running the con. No, they're speaking about startups all the time. The message, and I look at least at the top of the message every time. They say, you're a CEO. Are you trying to think of stepping down or something like that? For startups, do the messages that interest Olivia, and then she will do the micro conversion, start reading it, micro conversion starts consuming your LinkedIn, micro conversion, and then sales will be able to do a quality outreach that is exactly on the top of mind of Olivia.
Yeah. Just wanted to add an opposite piece of mind as well. So I receive hundreds of emails every day, and I receive 99% poorly written emails. So, there is a lot of cold outreach, 100%. But because the cold outreach became so accessible very often, we can now get access to leads. I remember 7 years ago, for me to buy a good list of 1,000 prospects that match ICP was impossible, right? Like I should have been talking to ZoomInfo for like 2 months for to get any proposal from them, right? And
So
now
true.
it's like it's just so low hanging fruit, right? So the point I'm making is people start being lazy with regards to their writing, so they didn't put a lot of thoughtfulness into that. They're not creative. They do a lot of AI chat GPT writing, and they think that this channel doesn't work. Of course, because it's not but I've met, and I just don't want to advertise them right now, but I've met this guy and this company, and they're amazing in writing, and I fell in love with them, and they reached out to me with a cold email, and I opened this email and I was like, shit, this is a good cold email. And I replied like, is this a good cold email? And so like, yeah, okay, let's talk. So the point was that when you have this momentum of like, oh, this is a very nicely done creative, like you said, Max, with Chili Piper outreach, right? Like, this is a nicely done. It might be generic for some, it might be funny, but it's a nicely done. So the point is that if you're looking for a scalable, cheap channel that you can easily integrate and you think that you're going to be successful tomorrow, try ads. Whatever you're doing, you won't be successful with anything. Like, try LinkedIn content. Impossible to be successful with it within even several years. Try ads. Impossible. Try whatever you're doing. You won't be successful if you're not doing that consistently over a long period of time. But if you're sending out cold emails 6 years in a row and you're doing that thoughtfully, then you would be very good at that, and they will provide you results. This is just kind of my 2 cents here. So
yeah, I don't know what to add. It's so cool, all the list, and I hope that's all people who watching us right now, they will use it, and we will receive more
creative emails. I mean, like, content
outreach.
is definitely the key, right? And by saying content, we don't actually refer to blog articles only. Emails are also content. Advertising is also content, because
I think that's
takes
even title in your LinkedIn, and it's a content, because I seen a guy and he wrote like a junior shitposter manager, and it was unusual, and I remember
this morning.
Title. Yeah.
This morning, a guy added to my LinkedIn the best Mama's project manager title, or something like that. And I was
amazing.
like, okay, I'm gonna just add you. I don't know who you are. I'm just gonna add you for that title. So
exactly.
Nice.
I mean, like, yeah, that's a really cool advice. Just stay creative, and the result will come.
And stick to it, right?
Yep.
I think you guys also saw with your customer, like, if you have someone coming in for like several months to test something and they just move on, they would never have anything set up successfully. But if you stick to it for some time, months or years, and you try and you optimize and you figure out different things, and you will definitely make it work.
It's great final thought for this panel discussion. I just want to say thank you for you, Michael. Thank you for you, Laura, and I hope that we'll prepare this list and maybe share as an email or as a post. So thank you so much, and thank you for this. What a start for this conference! It was great. Thank you so much, and hope to see you again on our events.
Thanks for
having a nice day.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Have fun.